Hey everyone, welcome back to another solo episode of the Fitness and Sushi podcast. I am Tony Schober. Today, I'll talk to you a little bit about when to say yes to fun foods. So this is like a part two, in a sense, to my last solo podcast episode, number T32, where I was talking about how I work through an emotional eating episode that I had. I was out for a walk. I came on my way back. I was passing by the grocery store. I decided I was going to go ahead and go in the grocery store because I was feeling a compulsion to kind of let go and just eat a bunch of food for the weekend, really. But I went in there. There were some pumpkin fritters when I walked in that I really wanted. I had put them in my basket and I had walked around the store trying to really decide, like, should I buy these or not? Do I really want these? Is there anything else that I really want here? Why am I eating these things? And I laid out the process that I had kind of talked myself through to determine that in the end, I put it back and said no. And I walked out the store. So if you want to kind of like go into more detail about that and how I addressed, and how I approached that emotional eating episode, definitely check that out, T32. But when I shared, because with these podcast episodes, I also write on the topic. So I posted this on Facebook, and one of our elite members asked a really good question. And I thought that this would make a great kind of part two to this, to that last episode. And her question was, and I'm going to paraphrase here because I was doing it off the top of my head. But basically, she asked how me saying no to the fritters reconciled with what we teach, like in the elite program, what we write about and everything, about giving yourself full permission to eat what you want, when you want, in whatever quantity you want. It's a great question. Like, Tony, this is not how she's saying it to me. This is just, I don't know, maybe you are, but it's like, how can you tell people to give themselves full permission to eat what they want, and then when you're in the store and you're feeling this drive to eat this thing, you tell yourself no? How is that full permission? And again, great question. We actually go into this, and I'm not mentioning your name on purpose because I don't want to, just for privacy reasons. But if you go into the program, we actually talk about this in the emotional eating lesson in the Q&A a little bit because it's a very common question. And permission-based eating just in general is sometimes a hard, a hard concept for people to grasp. And I feel like this is because the way that we grew up with the idea of permission was that there was always somebody gatekeeping it for us, right? Permission was usually granted by somebody, something, some entity outside of ourselves. Like, we always wanted this thing, whatever it was, but the permission was given to us. It was never given to us by ourselves. And we never really learned how to give ourselves permission and how to be responsible with it, like as adults who have consequences to our decisions and who have goals and who are autonomous beings. And so I think that's one of the biggest hangups, and the reason why there's a lot of confusion is because this idea of permission was always granted to us, not by us, but to us from an external source. And so the idea of us giving ourselves permission, what typically happens is we end up creating this synonymous idea that permission means yes. Permission means yes. Permission means eat it. Eat it. I want it, eat it, right? And no, that's not permission. That's just saying yes. Which, to be fair, sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes the answer is no. And it's permission that creates that space that allows you to make that decision that is best for you. Remember, permission is an attitude. It's an attitude towards food. It is not a behavior. It was a behavior when we were a kid, when we were granted permission. When we were granted permission, it was, yes, go do that thing, right? That's what permission meant. But as an adult, permission is an attitude that allows us to make the correct behavior for our wants and our goals. The goal, is to eat what we want, when we want it, and the quantities we want. But those wants are not static. The goal is to work on those wants and to explore them and to understand how they reconcile with the particular goals that we have. So sometimes the answer is yes, to eat those fritters. Sometimes the answer is no. For me, in that particular situation, the answer was no. And the answer of no was born out of a permissive state. It was born out of a permissive state where I said, I don't want these things. It wasn't, I can't have these things. I shouldn't have these things. That is permission from an external source. The external source is food. Food is in control in that situation. Food is giving you the permission. And now you are giving yourself permission, which makes you empowered to decide what it is that you do and do not want for what is best for you and the goals that you have. Okay? So for example, I say the answer isn't always yes, the answer isn't always no. It's one or the other, obviously, and it depends on what your goals are. Some goals would mean that the answer was yes in that situation. For example, if you had the goal of, say, building trust around food, or learning to give yourself true permission, or neutralizing feelings of restriction and deprivation, or any number of other things that are about healing your relationship with food, the answer very well could have been yes. That is what you wanted, and that is what you needed to accomplish that particular goal. That was what was best for you in that moment. Will it always be that answer? No, it will not always be that answer. But in that moment, it very well could have been yes. And you can ask yourself like, well, of course that's not what's best for me. That's bad for my health. Well, maybe. It depends on how you're looking at this. You could say that, yes, that in the short term, saying yes to those fritters and eating them because it's what you wanted, the short term would be bad for your physical health. Maybe. Okay? And it's only because I'm stereotyping that particular food. It's like, how can that be good for you in the moment, right? But your physical health isn't the only health that you have. We also have a mental and emotional health, and this is the thing we're trying to heal with our relationship with food. It's the thing that tends to be driving our inconsistencies with our eating. When we have binge restrict cycles, and we have daytime, nighttime eating cycles, or weekday, weekend eating cycles, or we feel out of control all the time around food. It's our relationship with food that needs repairing. This tends to happen on a mental, emotional health plane. And so saying yes to prove to yourself that you have permission might have been the right choice. Saying yes because you've been restricting and depriving yourself because food has been in control of you and you have this weird negative, you have this negative association with food and what it means. It has a lot of power over you. Well, that saying yes might be you taking back that power. It's the reason why you can't just copy somebody else and just make a blanket statement that says, hey, fritters are bad, you never eat fritters. Cereal at night, me, at least in the past, is good or bad. You can't make a blanket statement. It was good for me at that time of my life. Now it is not, because it doesn't match my goals. There was another comment on that post that was like, again, paraphrasing, there was no ill will to anyone towards me. At least I don't think there was. But she was like, sometimes you just need to eat the fritter and live a little, or life is too short. And yeah, it is sometimes. Sometimes the answer is yes, and you need to eat the thing because, I don't know, you're going out with your family for create this memory or something, whatever the case. And you have, for your entire life, been locking yourself in your house because you've been too afraid to go out to eat because calories aren't listed on a restaurant menu. In that situation, saying yes is the right answer for you because you are healing your relationship with food. For me, the answer was no. I already satiate, satisfy, and nourish myself with my meals. I already trust myself around food. I already give myself full permission. And I don't restrict and deprive myself. Those fritters are not the only thing that satisfies me. My meals, generally speaking, across a long period of time, satiate, satisfy, and nourish me, which is a prerequisite for me to be able to work through an emotional eating struggle. Me saying yes to those fritters in that moment is me ignoring my emotions and my underlying unmet needs. Again, I'm talking about me. This is me and my situation. And why no was the right answer. Saying yes would be me ignoring those unmet needs. It'd be me masking over them and coping with food. Binging is not living a little. Binging is not an answer to life is too short. That makes my life experience worse. Okay? I have healed, or I've done a lot of work. I don't feel like you're ever fully healed from your relationship with food, but I've done so much work on it that I can work now on this emotional eating struggle from the right place, from a place of permission. And so for me, the answer was no. Will it always be no? Nope. Sometimes if I'm extra restricted and I can feel it, then the answer is going to be yes. And the yes is because I'm restricted, not because I'm coping with an emotional struggle. So me saying no forces me to explore the underlying feelings that are being driven by the underlying unmet needs so that I can directly address those so that I don't feel the uncomfortable feelings that drive the need to cope with food. All right? So anyways, again, that was a great question. Appreciate you asking it. Hopefully that was helpful. Look, what I've come to realize with this health and fitness journey is that we're all in a different place on that journey, right? And my goal is to kind of give you these universal principles, and you have to apply these to your unique circumstances. And this is different than what you've probably done most of your life. Most of your life, you've followed like a template, a diet where it's very one size fits all. And it doesn't address the underlying struggles that have been keeping you stuck and frustrated. So your goal in all this is to, like, anytime you are receiving information, whether it's from me or from other professionals, you have to say, okay, this resonates now. How does this plug in to my journey, to my personality, to my wants, needs, and goals? That's where the self-awareness comes into place, and how the application of the information is effective. Because trying to say no to fun foods before you have given yourself permission and worked on your trust around food and all those prerequisites is not going to be helpful for you. But when you are ready and you are in this place where you're like, okay, I feel good. I'm satiating, satisfying, and nourishing myself with food. I don't feel restricted and deprived, generally speaking. I trust myself, so on and so forth. Okay, I'm emotionally eating now, and I'm ready to work on the emotional eating struggle. And this is what I need to do. I need to sit with the discomfort. I need to explore the feelings. I need to say no. I need to find better coping strategies and address the underlying unmet needs directly. Okay? So knowing where you are in your journey and reconciling it with the information you receive is so important. Okay? So anyways, look, if you guys need help with this stuff, Deanna is putting together a November mentorship. I believe it starts next week. So this is like your last chance, and I think it's the last one for the year. She takes a small group of women, usually around 5 to 8 women, and over the course of 6 months, she meets every single week with them on a Zoom call, and they work through the program, work through healing your relationships with food, body, exercise, and mind. And by the end of the program, you will have achieved your ideal body. Okay? That's the goal that she helps you accomplish. She coaches you through it. She does it in a supportive, small group, and that group is an asset. It's the best part of it. I know some people are like, "Oh, I don't like groups. I don't like sharing." This is the thing that actually transforms you. Trust me. This is coming from an introvert, okay? It creates a support structure, an immersive group of people, an ideology. It builds belief, and it helps you work through all of your problems. It helps you see the progress people are making, and you actually turn into a coach for other people. Like, you are helping people, and that which further helps you reinforce the identity, the ideologies that you are learning. Okay? So anyways, if you want to join that mentorship, you're going to have to jump on a quick 15-minute call with Deanna so she can go over it, make sure you're a good fit. She screens everybody. People aren't in that program unless they're a good fit for it, because she's very protective of the group of people that she selects, okay? So, but if all this resonated with you, likely you're a good fit. Check out builtdaily.com/mentorship, builtdaily.com/mentorship. I'll put the link in the show notes, but you'll need to jump on her calendar ASAP because it is starting, well, I believe that it's starting like right now. So get on it, all right? All right, guys. Hopefully that was helpful. If you liked the episode, 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts are always greatly appreciated. All right, take care. Good luck.